giving your mind over, right? And so when you went into that church, you gave your mind over. You sold your soul, because your soul is controlled by the thoughts that are played within your mind. Because the land of Peniel, where Jacob found God, tells you that dreams come with much instruction. So that means that visions that come inside of your head are the things that you're supposed to listen to. But your visions have been corrupted because of a voice. That voice came from the things that you've been taught inside of the church. The church has taught you the things that make you follow behind this rather than following behind the Creator. You see, the biggest trick that the devil played was making people think it existed. And by making you think that it existed, you gave it power. By giving it power, you gave it life. By giving it life, you gave it an existence. And by giving it that existence, you therefore have put yourself underneath of it. You get what I'm saying? Or did you run out of here? I think you ran out. Come on, guy, don't run out. We're having a conversation, man. You see how rude? See? Because destruction and misery are in their ways, for they know not peace. You see, I'm being peaceful. I'm just speaking things to you of reality, and you can't accept that and can't take that in, because destruction and misery are in your ways. For peace they have not known. See, that's why these things are in the scriptures. That is incorrect. Drop. That is the exact opposite. That is what you learn inside the church. You see, inside the church, they teach you that you're all the Antichrist. But in reality, the church is the Antichrist, because you yourself are the Christ. And you yourself have the ability to lead righteously, live righteously, and act righteously, and be righteous in the ways that you think. Right? That is the truth of things. You can be just as godly as you can be of the devil. You have two options. You can be one or the other, right? You're either acting in love or you're acting in fear, hate, and things of that nature. You see, this is the difference, right? When you got to pay attention to the things, right? They want you to believe that you yourself are the body. By believing that you are the body, that means that you cannot walk in spirit. Only when you're walking in spirit can you be righteous. The reason that you become righteous when you're walking in spirit is because you're no longer judging off of self. You're judging off of everything. Once you're able to accept everything and see everything for what it is, then your judgment is no longer a judgment, is only an acceptance of what is actually taking place, and therefore your actions won't be created out of a reaction to something. They will be created out of a necessity, a need that is needed for the people in order for the people to be free of the things that have been keeping them trapped. You see, this is what it means to be righteous. You see, people have this misconstrued idea that righteousness means, oh, you don't do this, oh, you don't do that. No, righteousness is being in your truth at all times and never swaying from your truth. You'll know when you're being unrighteous because you'll have a thought of something and you'll deny that thought and think that you know better and go and get yourself into some shit that you weren't supposed to be involved in. You see, that's being unrighteous. Okay? Doing things to people out of disdain, doing things to people out of envy, doing things to people out of hatred, these are unrighteous acts. All right? So you very much so can be as righteous as the Creator itself. Hey, what up, Smarm? What's going on, guy? You see, you have to be able to perceive things from a level that removes you from it before you're able to see it for what it truly is, right? See, most people walk around, you get somebody says something rude to you, you take it to heart, you think about it, you look at it, you go over it, you want to retaliate, you get pissed off, that's unrighteous, right? Because if you had an understanding of the things that were taking place around you, that thing that person said to you would not be affecting you the way that it was. Instead, what it would be is something that you would think about and be like, okay, now why is it that they got to that point, and what answer can I give to them that would serve them a better purpose for them to actually not think in the way that they do anymore, so that they can be free themselves. See, this is the difference. Being unrighteous is basically being selfish. You've placed yourself at the center of everything. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Look. Your best way to make a change is through yourself. Okay. The best way that you make a change is through yourself. This is what everybody that goes to the church is involved in. Proof of that, right? Proof of that. Anybody that comes through the church automatically is going to assume that we either worship Satan but that's because that's what they've been taught, right? So that's proof that their soul has been sold, because their soul is now stuck in hell, because when they see this, all they see is a demon. They see a devil, they see a monster, they see Lucifer, they see Baal, they see all these things that they were told, right? That means that their soul is sold. You get what I'm saying? Their soul is already sold because they've taken on a new mind. Right? And that's what they were taught inside of the church, was to take on a new mind, to see this as something. They see this everywhere that they go. And everything that they do, all they do is walk around seeing things that are negative, seeing devils, seeing monsters everywhere that they turn, which in turn puts them in hell for their entire life, and believing that there's something that's going to be great and save them afterwards for bowing down to these ideas. Meanwhile, they're giving their spirit, they're giving their soul away. Yeah, they say that, Ulysses, but don't you? Doesn't it also tell you to follow behind Jesus in that same Bible? Right? In that same exact Bible that you're speaking of, they tell you to follow behind Jesus. In that same Bible that you're speaking of, they tell you that to follow follow behind the words of these prophets. But in that same book, in that same exact book that you're bringing up right now, you're bearing false witness and idolizing what is known as the Son of God. Even though that's really Apollo, the sun god, that was incorporated by Constantine. No, if you care about people, you wouldn't let them all suffer, because it's a binding suffrage that you're being put into by going to the church, believing in the things that are taught in the church. The things that are taught in the church will have you doing things that you shouldn't be doing, because you yourself have been possessed by going into that church. By going in there and being baptized, you yourself gave your soul over. Because you gave your soul over. You admit it on a regular basis. You say you give your soul over to Jesus Christ. Think about that for a minute. You've all given your soul to Jesus Christ. Who is this Jesus character? Have you ever tested the spirit of this Jesus? No, I know you didn't. You know why? Because they removed the infancy gospel for the very purpose of you finding out exactly who this Jesus character was. Right? Exactly, Chris. The sin. Let's talk about sin for a minute. No, I'm not hateful of what others believe. I know the origin of all of these things. And so by default, I have enough love to share the information that I have with the people that have been misled, so that they can get to the Creator that they tried to get to by going to a church, in a house where God doesn't dwell, because God doesn't dwell in a house built by hands. So therefore, there's no hatred in anything that I'm doing. Only hatred that came out of anybody's mouth so far was you from the church. That's a judgment. Cast not the first stone, right? Why are you judging me for trying to bring you knowledge of the things that you yourself have been lied to about? What is the law of God? Who told you the laws of God? Exactly, ecstasy. Right. See, that's who Jesus replaced. Right there, the mother. Now, what is a sin? Think about what a sin is. Why do I quote the Bible? Because how else would I speak to you without using the words that you know? Would you listen if I didn't have scriptures to back up the things that I was telling you? Would you even hear me? at all. No, you wouldn't. All right? The reason that you wouldn't hear me if I didn't use the scriptures is because of the fact that you have been programmed by those scriptures. But you've been programmed by specific scriptures in order to lead you astray. Now, you can help that yourself. It's not that the Bible is valid. Let me explain it to you like this. The Bible is a rewritten children's book. Yeah, no, I haven't been programmed by the evil one, my friend. I'm not the one that sees something evil when they see this. You see, I'm not the one that calls this specific names. I see this and I see the duality in all mankind. I know all the body parts that it took in order to create this, and where these ancient symbols got created from, and how they explain the body in depth and detail because of the things that I study and the things that I know. It's a lot different than the things that you've been taught. No, I didn't say that the book wasn't. Let me explain it to you like this. There's things that are in the Bible that are real. There's things that are in the Bible that are true. Then there's things that have been added into the Bible and changed and guessed upon. And if they weren't guessed upon, they were made explicitly in order to leave instructions behind for the people that are using it to control you. Name one thing added or changed. Do I really need to? You can look up any scripture in the Bible and find 30 to 40 different versions of it immediately. I don't care which one it is. Go online, type in any scripture that's in the Bible, and you're going to see about 20 different versions of that same exact scripture in about 15 to 20 different books. Right? So, do I really need to be specific? Okay, but let's look who the people are that translated it originally. It was the Greeks, right? The Greeks. Now, what are the Greeks known for? Changing everything, claiming that they made everything, discrediting everything that came before it, and rewriting everything so that it fits a narrative. That's what happened in the Greek community. So what do you think happened to the scriptures that they were taught? Where'd the Greeks learn? The Greeks, all the Greek philosophers and all the great people in Greece learned in Egypt. So where do you think they got their information from? You see, the problem is with the majority of the people in the church is that you guys don't look anywhere but to the church. And that's because it was made in order for you to do exactly that. Right? They did a very good job of warping this into a religion. Well, King James was a Freemason. Prerogative on what? Well, you see, it didn't belong to a certain group of people. It was worldwide. And I can prove that it was worldwide. Oh, we have courses. We have things that'll help the people that really want to learn. Prove King James was a Freemason? Look it up. Just look it up. Yeah, he did write. He wrote a book of demonology before he wrote the Bible. Before he had the Bible rewritten. Like, please, like, yeah, if you're gonna come in here and argue with me about this stuff, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Just look it up and come back. Just do yourself a favor. If you're gonna look something up, start with CHXS. Start with CHXS and look it up in Greek. Yeah, I really don't, Samantha. I'm going to give you the information. Just all you got to do is look it up. CHXS. Just one S. Look up what that means in Greek. What is Yahweh? Man, your way? Your way? Yeah, exactly, John. Look, see, there's so many people that know, right? This is the part that gets interesting, right? Because there's so many people that know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. Nah, it's not breath. That's just something somebody made up to make somebody, like, that's just another false deity, okay? That's just another new age deity. Yeah, but which God are you talking about, God's remnant? Bro, I'm gonna be me regardless. I take it how you want it. It doesn't, like, it's not gonna affect me. I'm just gonna give you the information regardless. There is a lot of truth in the scriptures. There's just deciphering which scriptures are from the original text and which scriptures have been flipped is where everybody's getting lost at. Because the original texts are the scriptures that are coming off of the writing that's on the wall, which was also just another interpretation. You get what I'm saying? No, Yahweh is not. No, okay, Yahweh is a God. Yahweh is a God. Allah is a God. Yeshua is a God. Jesus is a God. These are all different deities, but there's one that's above them. This is a man-made God just as much as the rest of them are. No. They tell you that. But the Creator gave no name. Right, there's only one. That's right, Puff. That's exactly correct. The Creator never gave a name. Right. Some people call it source. Some people call it the all. Some people call it the Creator. Because there's no name given. You would have to know every single name that's on the planet in order to speak the Creator's name. The reason behind that is because everything comes from the Creator, which includes names. I'm not telling you opinions. Go learn. I'm only here to drop seeds. I'm here to plant little seeds so that you yourself can go figure it out. Because you're sitting in here, I don't care what church you go to. This is who you worship. Proof of that is you know who I'm talking about when I point to this picture back here. That's what you think, right? Because you've been trained to see this. I have plenty of answers, guy. I give them out daily. Where have you been? Think about it. See? Look at that. Look. See? Lucifer, my Lord. See, they teach y'all to cease it. Hey, I'm gonna ruin this. And look, now I gotta ruin this for you since Lucifer, my Lord. Okay, so the head right there is actually the representation of the underside of the brain. That round part up top, you know, where the 4 parts are inside of it, or the 5 parts, you know, you remember when Jesus had the five loaves? See the 5 loaves and the tails of the 2 fish right there? You see that going on right there? Yeah. So this is definitely not what you think it is. But that's because y'all been trained to see that shit. Life's gonna be terrifying for y'all when you realize that that devil doesn't exist. Because this is the divine feminine. This is the divine masculine over here. Masculine, feminine, right? You have the duality inside man. Okay? This is the caduceus. The caduceus is a representation of the heart. Okay? That's where the caduceus comes from. It's not some evil symbol. Alright? And this is going to be the flow of the sacred secretion coming from the mind all the way down the body and back up. No, I'm definitely not a Freemason, my friend. You think I'm lying to you guys? Hold on, let me show you. Let's do it this way. Since you know y'all don't want to see, y'all don't like to speak to me when I'm trying to speak to y'all about scriptures. But as soon as that picture comes out, y'all got a whole lot to say. Yeah, I got a present for you. Let's just turn this off, pink, and then we're gonna flip this around. Whoop. Oh, I'm so off, huh? Am I really? Are you sure that I'm the one that's off, my guy? Are you sure that it's me? It's me. Because, now, before we get into this, go ahead and say it again, Puff, because I missed it. I missed it. Oh, is that Baphomet? Puff, you're going to have to retype it. I'm watching right now, so you got like 10 seconds to retype that, because I got to get on with this lesson before people start dipping off. He's not even speaking coherently. Okay. I think it's in California. No, Puff, I said to type it now, but alright, since you're not going to type it, I'm not going to scroll through this whole thing looking for that stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so, why don't we break this image down? First off, you think this is Baphomet, but yeah, no, it's definitely not. Okay, it's body parts. I'm going to prove it to you right now. Now for my churchgoers in here, let's see how many people. Let's see how many people are righteous inside the church. Okay, I'll make you a deal. If I can prove to you that you have horns inside of your brain, right? If I prove to you that you got horns inside of your brain, every last one of you, you gonna give me a galaxy? Huh? You gonna give me a galaxy? Nah, don't say nothing. Don't tell him, Ecstasy. Don't tell him. Don't worry about how I speak, man. I'm gonna be me. You be you. Okay? This is deception? Okay. So I guess you don't know nothing about your body. We're gonna prove that you know nothing about your body right now. Nothing about your body right now. I want you to look right here. See this little square right here? Right here where my mouse is at. See that? Okay, psychologist, since you thought that you were so smart again a second ago, have you ever looked inside your brain at human anatomy? Did you know that you have an inferior horn and an anterior horn inside of your brain? This is literally anatomy. It's literally anatomy. You can look this up yourself. You do realize that you literally have a part of your brain called the interior and the anterior horn. Where'd my psychologist go? Where'd the psychologist go that just told me that I didn't know shit because he's a psychologist? It's good that you know your field. Okay, so this is the inside of your brain. Okay, this is the front part of your brain. Okay, and so I want you to notice something real quick. Now, this is what your brain looks like, right? Now, I told you this is a representation of the brain, right? No, they don't look exactly like that. That's because this is symbolism. So, just get ready for this part, okay? Let me break this down for you bit by bit so you don't get lost, okay? Because I know you're going to have a hard time accepting what I'm telling you if you've been in a church. Okay, so okay, right? So remember that part in the scriptures where they tell you that the birds of the field have all the knowledge? That's because of the bird that sits inside of your brain. You see the beak? Okay. See the beak? See the eye? All right. This is the bird. Okay, bird brain. This is what your anatomy looks like. Okay. Now, we're going to prove further that this is actually the brain right here by going like this, because this is the underside of the brain that you're looking at right now. Okay. Ooh, shit. Sorry, wrong button. Let me go back. Ooh, wrong way. There we go. Alright, there we go. Now let's print this like this. Okay, now I want you to see something. We're going to go like this. Alright. Like this. Oop. Damn. Hold on 1 second. I gotta shrink it down a little bit. Oh, now are you starting to see? Are you sure that I'm reaching big time? You don't see the cerebellum right here? You don't see this part where the eye is right here? You don't see that entire line that splits it right down the middle? You don't see that? Let me zoom it in for you a little bit. You don't see that. The blue part is the horns, right? This is the underside of the brain, right? This is looking at the brain from underneath. And up here is the inside of the brain, okay? This is the inside of the brain. This star right here, this star, circle of Willis. Let me get that for you. Let me show you real quick. Now, it's definitely not reaching. You're just blinded because you've been blindly following false prophets and whatnot. So, what you have here is what is called the circle of Willis. Okay. Now, if you notice, it's a 5-pointed star at the base of the circle of Willis, which you find at the base of the brain. Okay. Now, if you notice, there's also this part right here, which is right here, represented perfectly. Okay. See how it comes down? Right. Just like this, right? So this 5-pointed star is actually the circle of Willis. Once again, that's your body part. So this 5-pointed star is actually the circle of Willis. Once again, that's your body parts. Because that is located inside of your brain. Right here. See how it's right here where your cerebellum is located? The bottom part of your brain? Sitting right here where the cerebellum is located? Oh, I'm not bugging. You're going to learn today. Now, let's discuss this, because you're like, oh, the fucking horns are going the wrong way. Okay, but that's because the horns are going in. This is going to the inside of the brain. This is going in. That's why they're inverted. Get it? Inverted. Okay? That's why they're going in like this. Okay? They're going inside the brain. So these would be the 4 lobes of the brain. The 4th and the 5th, right? The 4 loaves and the 2 fish that Jesus gave onto his disciples. See the 1 fish, the 2 fish, right? So these are the 4 loaves and the 2 fish that Jesus gave onto his disciples. This is your pineal gland. Alright, okay? This is the pineal gland being ignited with knowledge. What that is when thine eye be single, thy body be full of light. Remember that part? Remember that part of the Bible? When thine eye be single, the body is full of light. You know, because Jacob found God where? In the land of pineal. Because the pineal controls what? Your inner visions, right? And those inner visions are where your dreams come from, and a dream comes with much instruction, right? Oh, right. No, it's not random ass facts, guys. These are Bible scriptures. That's actually Bible scriptures that I'm speaking on right now. So remember they put that Jesus character in there and said all kinds of things about this Jesus character, right? But here go your 5 loaves and the 2 fish, right, that Jesus fed on his disciples. How many disciples were there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh. Yeah, no, we're not twisting any scriptures. You're going to learn what those scriptures really mean today. You see? Because what you don't realize... Let me show you something real quick. See this? See that little bundle right there? Oh, it's not on this description. Alright, whatever. It's not on this description. Look. I want you to look at something real quick. You see how their hands are up like this? See how they got these little knobs on the top of their hats? With their little hands up and stuff? See how the Star of Bethlehem is right here? Right? Where do you think that Star of Bethlehem came from? Oh, this guy, right here. The circle of Willis. Okay? It's body parts. It's about your body. See how these hands are up? See? See how they got the little hands going up? Little hands going up, little hands going up, little heads, right? See how he's pointing in? Like this is pointing in? See how he's pointing in? Like this is pointing in? See how he's pointing? Like this is pointing? That's because they represent the superior vena cava, the aorta, and the pulmonary artery. Because it's about the body. So, that being said, why don't we move on to this next part that everybody freaks out the most about? This right here. This symbol right here. Everybody's like, oh, it's fucking, oh, it's stones. They're demon, devil snakes. And why you think they put demon, devil snakes on the hospitals? You think that's what's on there? That they got demon devils on the hospitals? What if you really believe that this sign, this symbol right here is something evil? Why do you take your kids to the hospital? Just out of curiosity. I'm just curious about that, because I'm going to show you what it really means. I'm going to put this right here, Bink, like that. Now let me shrink this image a little bit, and pull this down like this. All right. Let's go like this, right here. Pull that up. I want you to notice something. Oh, my lost little sheep. Oh, my lost little sheep. Let's see. Oh, this is satire. Okay. So, if you notice the shape of the head of each one of these snakes, it kind of resembles something you see over here on the left. If you notice, the head shape is the same as the heart. Why would there be two? Because if you notice these two veins coming right here, one crosses over top of the other one and goes down. One goes behind the other one and goes down. Just like one crosses over top of one and goes down, and one goes behind the other one and goes down. Okay? This is where the caduceus come from. This is where your medical symbol come from. Now you understand why the medical symbol is the caduceus, because it represents the heart. Now you understand why the medical symbol is the caduceus, because it represents the heart. The caduceus is a representation of the heart. No, it does not come from DNA. This is your spine, right here. This is your spine, okay? And these are the valves that come out of the heart. Give me 1 second. So, let's be clear on some things. This is not something evil. The only people that see evil when they see these things are the ones that are trained to see evil, because by speaking it, thinking it, and letting it out of your mouth, you're now giving it life. I don't know if you've learned that when you were in the church, but you're giving life every time that you speak. I don't know if you know anything about frequency or vibrations or anything like that, but you're definitely giving life every time that you speak of things, okay? Now, I want you to notice something. While you're saying that this is not this, let me show you how this is actually the representation of the heart right here. See these fingers? You see these fingers? You see anything familiar? You see how the thumb is curved over and in? Just like this is curved over and goes in. And then there's the two of them that stick out straight. And then the two of them that stick out straight. Satanist. Guy, you have to believe in those type of things to be with that. You see, you guys are the ones that get that power, not me. Because when I see this, all I see is body parts for men and women. See, the reason they use children is because of the fact that children are pure. They have not been tainted. They have not taken on their own understanding. They're innocent, right? So this is purity of the masculine and the feminine. That's duality. Okay? Now these wings back here, right? Remember, I told you this is about the heart. Right? See how we got the wings, right? Wings, wings, wings. Okay. That's a representation of the muscles that go around your rib cage. See, so once again, we're dealing with the heart. Because in ancient times, people actually used symbolism in order to teach things to children. And you've gotten a children's book and just didn't get the actual knowledge behind that book. So the wings themselves are actually a representation of your rib cage, the muscles that go around the rib cage. That's why there's 12 notches between the two sides. There's the 12 notches on the outside representing the 12 disciples that hold your rib cage in place. See, understanding symbolism changes everything. See? Understanding symbolism changes everything. See? Why do you think they're perfectly arched like an open rib cage? Think about that for a minute. That the reason that they used the goat was to represent the brain, right? So if the goat represents the brain, then what's the brain going to be attached to? The body, right? And that body is going to have what? A heart attached to it, right? And that heart is being represented right here in this general area. That's why the fingers represent the valves coming out of each side of the heart. The caduceus represent the valves that come down below the heart. This is the representation of the spinal column, right? And the hair is actually a representation of the sacred waters. Okay? These are the waters above. Those waters above travel down your spine through your amen. It's called your foramen, right? And then it travels down. If you notice, on this side, all the hairs point down, right? This representation of the flow of the water. So the hairs are pointing down on this leg because it goes down first. It goes down to your sacrum, where it is then crucified, and your Christ oils return, going up. Notice how these ones point up. See how this goes? See how these hairs go up versus these hairs going down? You think that it was done by accident? You guys, think about it for a minute. Bro, think about this for a minute while you're saying that I'm the lost one. Think about how much detail was put into this statue. And you think that each detail that was put into this statue wasn't done for a very specific reason? They're not pointing up to you. You don't see the arrows. You don't see the arrows pointing up. You don't see the ones that are going down. You really don't see that. Think about it. Here, let me help you out. Let me give you a different picture to look at that maybe you'll be able to relate to a little better. Hold on. Let me give you one that you'll conform to a little easier. Because everything that I just showed you in that picture is also found in this one. Right here. For my religious people. First, you got the 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Notice how there's nothing else. Just 12, right? Those are the 12 disciples. I know they don't see anything, guy, but, we're going to try to give it to them a different way. Now, let's do it like this. We'll put these two next to each other. I want you to notice some things, right? You see how at the area of the heart, right, you have the caduceus, right? You see how the one goes on the top, on the right side, and the one goes on the left, on the back side, right? Just like the one on the top. The one on the top, on the right side, and the one that goes behind on the left side. Oh, right. So if so we've got the 12 notches that are on the wings, then we've got the 12 faces that are on this one, right? Those are your 12. That's your 12 disciples, right? Okay. Then what do we have? You got the feminine on the left side, masculine on the right side, the feminine on the left side, the masculine on the right side, right? And then after that, we also have the halo that goes behind the head, just like the halo that goes behind the head here. Right? Now the difference is this pillar is on the outside and this pillar is on the inside. But if you notice, both pillars have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay. So, and then right here at the shoulders, what do we got? A set of wings here and a set of wings here. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's not comparable. Okay. Sure, it's not comparable. Maybe you just don't want to see it for what it really is. You see, because just how I showed you that this is all the body parts, right? I showed you that this is nothing but the body parts and it goes down to the hips, right? Remember when you told me I was crazy because I told you that the leg hairs went down into the sacrum? Where's your sacrum at? At your hips, right? Now where would your hips be? Probably at the lower back. See how he's standing on somebody? This somebody that's lower than the other people in the picture on the back side, letting you know that this is about the lower back. Oh, right. This is symbolism. So, if you notice, same as this one, right? Look at the caduceus. Look at them, right? See how on the left side it's behind? Just like on the left side it's behind. See how on the right side it's on the front? And on the right side it's on the front. See how this is on the front and this is on the back? Remember that? Oh, but it's not the same thing. No, you're right. Okay. Right? You see this? See this same exact shape right here? You see this shape right here? That's not this shape right here. You know, at the bottom, below the caduceus, right there, letting you know that this is dealing with the lower back, right? Because the spine, the cross is the spine and the clavicle, with the 7 vertebrae on top of it, which is why the top half of the cross is always shorter than the bottom half. Oh no, it's not the half a circle that matters. It's the symbolism, right? Now look, right? You see how on the left side this one's going down and in, and this one's going out? See how this one goes down, right? Right? Think about this for a minute. Just pay attention. Look, see how this one goes down and this one goes up? Or this one goes in and this one goes out? See how on the left side he's being pulled in? Notice how on the left side he's being pulled in, on the right side it's being pushed out? Right? Because this is the cycle, right? Because when that cerebral spinal fluid, the waters above, travel down to your sacrum, they go in, and then they're cleansed, right? Through purity, right? And when that purity happens, what happens? It gets pushed back out. And when it gets pushed back out, it goes back up through the arteries into the heart, and then it connects to the brain. Right? This is the sacred secretion. Yeah, the Christos oil, exactly. It's the same thing. What you guys have a problem believing is that this thing isn't the same as this thing. These two are the exact same thing. Now, check this out. This information is not new information. Now, if you notice, once again, right here at the shoulders, you got the wings again, right? See how you got them wings again? See how you got the sun and the moon right here? The masculine and the feminine, just like here, right? Then you got the wings right here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, just like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right? Once again, same exact thing going on, right? Same sacred secretion. Proof of that. See how he's behind on the left side? See how the waters are behind the leg on the left side? and they're in front of the leg on top on the right side, just how this one is in front on top on the right side. All right, once again, we're going back to the same symbolism, only we're going to stick to cultures that are way older than Christianity. Now, I keep telling you that it's about the heart, right? All right, told you that the wings represent the muscles that wrap around the rib cage, right? Now I told you this is the chamber of the heart, right? All right, you ready for the proof? Okay, so we're going to go back to that same image from before. This one right here. Don't mind Jesus. Don't mind Jesus. Now I want you to notice something. You see how he's got this little stem in both of his hands? You see how he's got the stem in both of his hands, right? You see that, right? There's the one on the right side. Oops, sorry. Here's the one on the left side, right? Now if you look at the heart, what do you got right there on the heart? You got the three on the left side that come out. This is your saint symbol, just if you didn't know. This is where your saint symbol comes from. Okay? So, once again, this is about the heart. I keep telling you, this is about the heart. So, if you notice, on either side, he's holding that stem with the three little flowers on it. These three little flowers you see right here. And right here. You see? What do you mean so? If this image correlates with the image that I just showed you, you know, the most modern versions, and this image over here is somewhere around like 6,000 or 7,000 years old, and your image that you follow behind, which is the exact same thing as I want you to notice some stuff, right? I want you to think about this. Stop being so religious for a second and use your brain, okay? Stop being so religious for a second and use your brain. You got the 12 discs, right? The 12 cycles of the disc, the 12 disciples, right here around this ring that goes around the heart, because I told you it's the 12 discs that are behind the heart, right? You see how he's representing the heart, but he's in front of the disc, right? Because the 12 disciples that follow behind Jesus everywhere that he goes would be the 12 disc cycles, or the 12 discs that I pull. So you've got the 12 on this ring right here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, right? You got the 12 there, the 12 there. You have the sun and the moon, the masculine and the feminine. You have the masculine and the feminine right there. Then you have the halo behind the head. This is the halo that's behind the head. Then you have the angel's wings, you know, those same angel's wings. And then you have the flow, right? You have the flow that's behind. See how it's behind the leg? Then you have the flow that's in front. See how it's in front of the leg? Okay, so that's literally the same. This is the same exact imagery in ancient times that's been recreated multiple times. So now that you see this image and you see this image, how is it that you can see both of those images and deny that this image is also the same exact thing? Because you've got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 notches on the wings. You've got the wings. You've got the male and the female. You've got the hands that represent those little valves that come out of the heart, just the same as this guy over here representing the heart, right? You've got all the same stuff in all these images, even in this one right here, even in this version of it. Still the same thing. See how the eye's opening, see the sun that's above it, you see the hands coming down as the sun's giving rays because that's illuminating. It's all the same symbolism. It's literally all the same symbolism passed through multiple different civilizations. Look. Here, let me get the one that I like. Where's this one? This is the easiest one to see. Because right here in the middle of this, if you'll notice, there's a guy on the cross right here where you get your Christ oils from. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying a whole lot. You just don't want to see it for what it is because you've been indoctrinated into the church, thinking that the things that come to you in the church are fresh and new information. No, this is always what it's been. That's why you see the heart right here in this hand. You see the mind. This is what your spinal column looks like leading up to your brain. Okay, this is what it looks like when you're looking down at it from the top. That's where your flower of life actually comes from. Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, now over here you have the closed mind. right? And over here you have the open mind. Well, how did that happen? It just so happens that those sacred waters from above, the same thing that I just showed you in the other one, if you notice, right here in the center of it is that same, this is the star, right here they have a circle. Out of that circle they have a pillar with an ignited star. Out of this one they have it going up and igniting up here, okay? Now you have those same halo that you find behind Jesus, that you also find behind Baphomet, or whatever you want to call them, and all the other. Those same halo that you find behind Jesus, that you also find behind Baphomet, or whatever you want to call them, and all the other things, right? Same exact thing. Same exact thing, right? And then you have the waters that come out, right? And those waters that come out, they go through the chamber of the heart, and then they travel down the backside. Notice how it's going down to the backside, right? And then it goes down into the hips where it's crucified. You see how it's coming into the hips? See how it's coming in, right? And then it goes into the cycle. Then your Christos oil is created. The Christos oil is the renewed blood of the body. That renewed blood of the body then travels out, comes around, and goes right up back into the heart, and then it goes into the mind. And when that happens, when the spirit mixes with the heart and the blood, you ignite that pineal gland, right? So literally the same exact thing through every civilization, just done in different ways, because each one was a little bit more advanced than the last. Right here, same thing. You want to see it? Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. See the 4 sections representing the 4 sides of the brain, right? Then after the 4 sides of the brain, you have the beard representing the flow of the water down, right? The flow of the water goes down. It goes in one side. That's why he's got the legs of the mermaid, letting you know that this has to do with the waters, right? And then those waters go in, and then they go through a cycle, the flower of life, right? And then when it comes back out, it goes back up, right? Same thing, right? And then you got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12 represented right there. So no matter which culture that you go to, it's the same sacred information being passed on. Up here, chamber of the mind, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 loaves and the 2 fish. See the 5 loaves, and then you got the 1 and the 2 fish, right? 5 loaves, 2 fish. And look, right up at the top, there's that ignited pineal gland once again, right? And then what do we have? See the chamber of the heart? See how it's different in this culture? Look, same exact thing. See how it's got the 2 that are straight, and then the 1 that's missing, and the 1 that's missing, and the 2 that are standing up completely, right? You think this is done by accident? No, it's not done by accident. It's the passing on of the same information. Now, what happens when that goes down, right? Oh, you see how this one has it going down and in? All right, it's going in here, right? Look at her hands. Look at the hands, right? Pouring it in, right? She's pouring it in, right? And then it's going in. It's going through the cycle, and what's happening? She's catching it as it's coming back out, right? So she's catching it coming back out, and then it gets sent back up. Once again, same thing. Different culture. Alright? The monkey. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. See how there's 12 of the big flower pieces? Right? The winding, right? Same thing as that snake, right? And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 right here, letting you know that this is where the spine would be. Then you have this little hook right here representing the basal ganglia and the pineal gland. And you see the monkey, right? The monkey is representation of the brain. Let me show you. See, all you gotta do is know symbolism. Well, if you know symbolism, you can read all this stuff for yourself. Look, let me show you something real quick. This folder? No, not that folder. I need this folder right here, and I believe the monkey is in this one. Hold on, let me show you real quick. The minky. I'm gonna find the minky real quick. The minky. Where is it? Where is it? Where is that picture at? Oh, there it is. See? This is why they use the monkey. Because the monkey is a representation of your midbrain. This is what your brain looks like when it's cut in the middle. Alright? That's why the monkey was chosen in China. Because the monkey is the representation of your midbrain. See? In China and in Egypt. Okay? That's why the monkey is there. It actually represents your brain. This is what your brain looks like when you cut your brain in half. So that's why there's a monkey. And that's why this monkey is drinking. See the brain getting the waters returned to it? Oh, right. After that sacred secretion, you see the secretion going on right there? Oh. So yeah, same exact knowledge right there. Same exact knowledge. But yet, for some reason, you don't understand that it's the same thing in the Christian and the Catholic Church. Because they don't want you to know where that knowledge comes from. Remember how it comes down on the left side? Remember how that sacred secretion goes down on the left side? And then what happens? Your Christ is born. Oh, right. The Christ gets born, right? And then that Christ gets born, and what happens? Oh, it goes back up. See how he's looking up? Oh, right. See how he's looking up? See how he's looking down? They definitely do think it's a joke, but, that's because they're lost, man. They're possessed by little demons and devils and stuff. Look, same thing going on here. Look, they even got the fingers on this one, okay? Look, see? Same halo, same little tri-piece right here, same ignited pineal gland up here. You got the man and the woman right here. You know that's the woman because she's carrying a baby, okay? That's how you know that was the woman, and this is the man over here. And if you notice, that right leg goes over top, and then that left leg goes behind, right? Same exact thing through every single civilization. Every single. Oh, yeah, if you go to church, yeah, you are. If you go to church, then you're definitely possessed. Because God doesn't dwell in a house built by hands, my friend. Let me repeat that to you once again. God does not dwell in a house built by hands, but Jesus pops up where 2 or 3 are gathered, right? Right? Jesus pops up where 2 or 3 are gathered. But God doesn't dwell in a house built by hands. So who are you worshiping in the church? Because you're not calling on God, you're calling on Jesus when you go to the church. Oh, you want me to prove that you're possessed if you go to the church? Would you like me to prove that you're possessed if you go to the church? If you go to church, you're living in hell right now. Because hell is the absence of God. And what did you see when I pulled up that picture of what you call Baphomet? What did you see? You seen a demon. You seen a devil. You seen Satan. You seen Lucifer. You seen everything except for the body parts that I showed you that it was. Right? I showed you a bunch of body parts and you couldn't even see the body parts. All you saw was the devil. So aren't you living in hell right now if all you see is devils and demons everywhere that you go? Isn't that where the devil and the demons are, is in hell? Right? So if the devil and demons are in hell, and I tried to show you the knowledge behind the things for you to actually be able to see clearly what it was, and you refuse to see it, then you worship the devil. You see everything. You see everything as evil, demonic, and da-da-da-da-da. All of you people that go to church do. You live in hell. You live in hell. You sold your soul when you gave your mind over to the church. You want me to prove it? Everybody that's not in church that's seen this picture after I showed you what this picture means, do you still see some fucking demon that they tell you to see in church? No. What you see is body parts. Don't get mad at me because you see a demon when you see this. Don't get mad at me because you see a devil when you see this. I showed you that it's not, and you refuse to see it any other way. That's worship. That is worship of idolatry. You're idolizing this as the devil. I have shown you the symbolism that proves to you that this is nothing but body parts, and in fact this is the sacred secretion that I've just shown you in seven other civilizations, but for some reason all that you can see is the devil. All that you can see is demons. All that you can see is Lucifer. All that you can see is hell. You're possessed. Why are you possessed? Because destruction and misery are in their ways. I'm trying to give you knowledge right now. And what does it say in the Bible? My people will perish for lack of knowledge, for you reject knowledge, and I shall reject you from your seat in heaven. You don't even know what a cuss word is. You cuss every time you go to church. What do you say in the morning when you wake up? Don't you say hello? Huh? Don't you bless yourself? Don't you bless yourself? Huh? Aren't you working till the weekend? You don't even know what curse words really are. You sit there and curse yourself every day. But you're going to say that what I say is a curse. You might want to put some knowledge behind that. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how only the people in the church are so unruly in this chat? I want everybody in the chat to pay attention to how the people in the church are acting. Because it says that destruction and misery will be in their ways because peace they have not known. Pay attention. Pay attention to who are the most unruly people in this chat. Who are the most unrighteous people in this chat right now? The people going to church that refuse the knowledge of what they're looking at. Think about it. Look at them. Look at the chat. Let me show you something. Let's take this a little bit deeper. Let's go a little deeper than this. Let me show you something. We're going to give them some scriptures. Let's see if they'll stay for the scriptures. Hold on. We'll start with the one that's the most popular. Can the black Moor change his skin, or the leopard his spots, so that ye might also do good that do evil? You ever seen what a scripture looks like? Before those words came out? Off the walls of the Mayan temples, or maybe out of the Mayan codexes? Oh, would you like to see a more modern version of it? Hold on. Well, I got you. Where is it? Bing. All right, let me give you a different one. Since you don't like that one. How about, can the black Moor change his skin, or the leopard change his spots, so that ye might also do good that do evil? Which one? Which part of the scriptures do you want to go by? How about the fact that they told you that it was Eve that got the knowledge from the snake, when this is the story of Adam getting the knowledge from the snake right here on the walls? First off, I want you to notice your Christian cross right here. I want you to know where the origin of it came from, and why they tell you to demonize these things when it says clearly that was written in former days, was written for our instruction. Fresh water. Judaism is false. All the religions are false. Well, the cross was used by the Romans, guy. Where do you think they learned it from? The cross is the cube of Satan, really? Okay. So, first off, the reason that they say that they got their information from the snake is because when a snake is in this position in ancient times, this is a representation of the epiglottis, which is the head, the larynx, which is this part right here. See how it's got the little hooks for the larynx? Okay, and the trachea. That's why all these little notches are right here. See the little notches right here? Okay, so this is why they say that they got their knowledge from the snake, because the snake, when it's coiled up like this, it's a representation of your throat. And so right here, you have the story of Adam getting, or Ebed Melech, getting his knowledge from the serpent. This is the story of the sacred secretion. You know, that sacred information being passed on. Talking about nothing? Okay, so let me show you some stuff. Okay, so when the snake is sitting like this, see when it's long like this is the letter J, but it is also the representation of the frontal lobe of the brain. Okay, so this is the frontal lobe of the brain. As we all know, the feather represents the muscles. Okay, and the brain is a muscle. So, you know, you have the frontal lobe of the brain squeezing the muscle where the waters are, and you have the bird that's representing your third eye. Matter of fact, let me show you that real quick so that you know exactly what we're talking about here. See, the owl, first off, let's be clear, this is an owl, not a falcon. This is an owl, okay? See, because the owl has that hook that goes around the face, okay? The reason that it's chosen to be the owl and not any other bird is because owls have 360-degree vision. They are nocturnal, so they see out of the darkness into the light. And because they are the birds that have the most wisdom out of all the birds, you can find them in every season, right? So the owl is the representation. Remember when I showed you? Let me get rid of this guy. He's getting on my nerves. It's too bad you won't be here to learn anymore. So, remember when I showed you the interior and inferior horn? Turned sideways is where you get the bird. This is where they get the term bird brain from. Okay, this is what the owl actually represents, is this area right here. Okay. Now, the little ball right here is your basala ganglia. Okay. And this is what it looks like from the side. Okay, so this is actually an owl, just so you know. That's why you always see him leading people through. Whenever you see this on any ancient civilization tombs or any type of temples, what you will always see is he's leading. Why is he always leading? Because it's out of the darkness into the light. Okay? So, now that you know, with the bird sitting down like this, represents, okay? So, this pillar right here is a representation of the spine. This is the top of the spine, which is where the seat of the throne of God is, located inside of your head. This little guy right here is a disciple, okay? So, you have the front brain, the muscle of the brain, the waters, the inner eye. You have the connection from the spinal column to the brain, and you have the bird waking up. Right here, this little jug right here is a representation of the heart. This cup right here is the cerebellum, the bottom part of your brain. Okay? So, see the duck? Why is there a duck there? Because the waters are moving. That's what that represents. The waters moving, right? And this cup right here is the bottom of the brain. So it's the waters that are traveling through the brain. Now, they're going down to the hips. That's what this represents right here. This little flat level platform, this is the representation of the hips. Okay? So as the muscles of the brain start to operate, you have the flow traveling down the spine, opening up your third eye. These are disciples. That's what this is. This is the disciple right here, okay? Traveling through the muscles. And where does it go? It goes through the heart, down the spine, to the hips. Okay? Because the cross is a representation of the spine and the clavicle. Okay? So it goes down to the hips, and as it passes through the disciples, the mind is starting to unify, and your inner eye is starting to open up. You know, let thine eye be single so that thy body can be full of light. Okay? So as the muscles of the brain contract, the waters are traveling down the spine. That's why he's holding the spine in his hand. Okay? That's what he's holding in his hand. That little vein is actually the spine. Okay? So the waters of the brain is the bottom of the brain because it's incomplete. So as the brain completes, he gets the knowledge from the snake on how to unify all parts of the brain. That's why there's 5 total, right? This is the completed, this is the top, the 3 that are in the back, and the bottom. That makes the 5, and this is unified. Once those 4 have unified and created the full mind, the masculine and the feminine combined, you start to unlock your sacred secretion. That happens by the brain connecting and starting the flow. That's why he's got this hand right here that has that little water thing in it, okay? And those waters travel. That's why you see, got the duck letting you know those waters are traveling again, right? And when those waters travel, the muscles of the brain start to unlock your eye. See how the third eye now has something in the middle of it, okay? So this is the throne of God right here. This is the brain. This is your spinal column. This is the heart, all right? So it's traveling as the eye is opening, all right? You're unifying both sides of the brain, and those waters travel down the discs, all right? The disciples, right? The discs of the spine, all right? And as it gets down to the hips, see? This is the hips, right here. Gets down to the hips. Those waters go from being water into the Christ oils. That's why this one's golden, okay? So, after it's golden, what happens? It starts to travel again, right? And when it travels, it goes through the heart to unify the mind with the body and the spirit. And then your sacred waters, your sacred secretion is completed. Okay, so this is your boy Adam, or Ebed Melech, getting his knowledge from the serpent. Okay, and that is what this is. You see, you have to understand, there's parts of the Bible that you don't get. Don't talk to me about God because you don't speak to God. You don't speak to the Creator. You talk to Jesus, the devil. That's who you talk to. So you can't tell me about the Creator because you're nowhere near the Creator because you're living in the world of the Antichrist. So, what do you think they're talking about when they tell you about the beasts of the field? Right? What do you think they're talking about when they tell you about the beasts of the field? Don't you hear about the beasts of the field in the Bible so much? Why do you think there's all these stories about the beasts of the field, the different animals, right? Because, let's go like this. Let's go back to the beginning. Because, don't they speak about dragons in the Bible as well? Right? They do speak about dragons, right? Right? Don't they speak about dragons in the Bible? Okay, yeah, they do. Okay, they do. So, yes, they do. So, these would be the beasts of the field. This is why they have beasts of the field that are representing all the knowledge about the body. Now, we'll skip Osiris real quick. Okay, this is what they're talking about in the beasts of the field. All the different animals that compile to make the body up. The goat or the ram representing your brain, and the muscles that are within your brain. Right? You have the frog representing the hips. See the frog representing the hips. Now you know why there's beasts in the field. Right? The dragon representing the large intestine. The dog representing the tongue. Right? Deliver my soul, my darling, from the sword and the power of the dog. Where do you think that scripture comes from? Deliver my soul, my darling, from the sword and the power of the dog. Well, the power of the dog is the tongue. And that's why his head's shaped like this. It's because he represents the tongue. See, these are teeth. The tail is connecting it to the back of the mouth. These are the teeth. This is the front of the mouth. Okay? So, deliver my soul, my darling, from the power of the sword. And the dog, well, that's because the dog represents the tongue, and the tongue can cut somebody very deeply. In fact, when you're barking at somebody, you're cutting them down, aren't you? Of course you don't see it. You don't want to. You're ignorant. That's not my problem. I don't care. This isn't for you. This is for the people that actually want knowledge. So, this is where the scripture comes from. Deliver my soul, my darling, from the sword and the power of the dog. This is where that scripture comes from. Because if you notice, the ears, this is your tongue. This is the full anatomy of your tongue right here. Okay? The ears. Notice how we got the notches on the inside of the ear, just like you got the notches on the inside. Okay. Right? And then you got these big old cheeks. Right? And these big old cheeks. And then you got the eyes sitting right there, and then the tongue that comes out. That's why you see the shadow of the tongue right here. Right? So, that's why they say, deliver my soul, my darling, from the sword and the power of the dog. They also tell you that death and life are weighed at the scale of the tongue, right? Hold on, let me show you something real quick. Come right back to that. Hold on. They say death and life are weighed at the scale of the tongue. Well, who's the one that sits at the scales of life and death in ancient Egypt? Ask yourself that question. Anybody? 2 points. For 2 points. Anybody?